I just heard I just heard the wind's blowing. It's been a windy couple weeks, and the wind's blowing, and I just heard like a branch, crack and fall or whatever, something like that. When it's windy outside, real windy. What is it? Well, they say March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. And they say April showers bring May flowers. It's almost May, and it still seems a bit Marchy. But anyway, the sound that the tree made when it broke was do 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 do. I gotta get it right because it's always best when yeah, I started over the video because it didn't really work, but when inspiration comes like naturally. Also, I was having some really deep and good feeling thoughts, and I often have good thoughts, and I often have rather deep thoughts, I think. But rarely do I have good and deep thoughts where kind of a new good and new deep are reached at the same time. I just had a feeling thought, like it was a thought and a feeling, um, that I didn't expect, and it had everything to do with that marriage between logos and mythos, which has everything to do with like philosophizing while feeling and some kind of mastery over and in my case not mastery but a very slight burgeoning propensity, which I hope to develop. And today it was kind of like a baby step. It was really nice just a few minutes ago. So yeah, I want to do this boom ba boom ba tum ba ta ba ta ba bo pa 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 because the I can't even remember what it was. Maybe I just truncated it. I feel like I'm not even getting it right. No. But it would be like if someone beat us up and punched us like if someone punched us 4 times in the face, it might be hard to get if someone asked you what was the could you transcribe? Yes, I got 4 punches in the face. Well, can you transcribe the percussive nature of that? You know, was it whop 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 whop, or was it whop whop, or was it, or was it boom, boom boom boom, or boom boom, boom boom, or boom 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 boom? You know, I can't say. Well, you were there. Don't you remember? I've rarely been hit. The hardest that I can remember being hit was this kid when I was in second or third grade. I was coming in from recess, and I think I'd been scuffling with some other kids. And I started running up this hill, and then the notorious very strong bully was standing there, and we'd had never any interactions before. But he was like pretty cool and a bully, you know? And tough. He was just tough. He wore squeaky clean, tan work boots. So he was kind of like Marty McFly. He basically looked like Marty McFly with big old tan work boots, the kinds with a really strong rubber sole and strong stitching, you know. Anyway, I was scurrying up this little embankment when I heard the bell. I was already running late, and I remember I was quite disheveled and so on, and I look up and he was just already there because I'd been scuffling on the ground looking down. And then I look up and I see him standing there. I kind of want to say his name. Only because he has a cool tough name too. Ah, fuck it. We'll all be dead before anybody watches this, but Michael Doherty. It was like Doherty, but everybody just called him Doherty. I think. Now that I'm older, that's just like my immediate impression. Michael Doherty. Anyway, I stand up and he's like whap whap whap. Except like straight on, like in like perfect form. And I used to get in a lot. I since the third grade, I've virtually been in no fights physically. I played football, but yeah, physically, a few times I thought I was going to. There's been other things in my life, but I don't think I've been in a real fight. Thank God. One of the reasons is because when I think fight, like when I feel the fight or flight response, I I immediately go right to kill, you know. But it's not just like I want to kill you. It's like you're trying to kill me. If I feel the fight or flight response, the first thing I think is like you're trying to kill me. So in my mind, in my imagination, I might like summon up all these different ways I might kill you because I think you're going to kill me. When I feel the fight or flight response, I think you're going to kill me. But I never, ever rise up to that because I'm always like run, hide, get safe, you know. Which normally is, yeah, just psychological. I haven't really been threatened so much. Sometimes people get a little road ragey. I was at the gas station one time and I was pulling around to a pump and someone was pulling around the other way and I just so happened to get there first. I didn't really see that they were going for it and they like got really fucking mad at me, you know. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, you know. I would have totally moved, but like they got really mad at me and then they fucking drove off. So I didn't have a chance to fucking do anything, you know. But I would have been like, here you go. I'll wait for you. I don't, you know what I mean? Not that I'm perfect at all. I guess I'm just describing an instance where I had patience. I guess there are probably many other times when I haven't had patience, but I don't do that to people. I might think it way too often, but I don't, express that. When I'm in the recently, I've done a much better job of even when I think it, recognizing that I've just been triggered and just a little prayer like, dear God, I've just been triggered. I'm really sorry that I'm responding this way. And I'm really sorry, about that. But also I want to forgive myself and not like let it ruin the next 5 days. And, thank you for allowing me to allow myself to step back for a moment, give praise to the higher power, give understanding that it wasn't about me, and recognize that I have the same thoughts. I just don't express them that way. I'm just as violent in my mind, even if I don't express that violence, you know. And it's quite, you know, quite often we feel very cowardly for not being a tough guy. You know, I don't feel cowardly for not being a tough guy. I feel cowardly because I can't defend myself at all. Right? We human beings are the only thing in the world that isn't fucking butcherous. In nature, the only things that survive are fucking killers. If you if you're alive as an animate being in nature, you're a killer. There are a few exceptions, and they would be those who know better. I think of the sloth. I don't know. Maybe the sloth is a killer. I've watched, like, you know, maybe 2 hours in my whole life of sloths. But I'm pretty sure they don't kill a lot of things, you know. But they, that would mean that they, like, know it better than anybody, except maybe us, except we haven't learned the lesson, you know. And I'm not saying that I have, but I'm conscious of it and I'm working on it. Today I had a nice result because it's hard to coalesce these thoughts, these feelings that we have, the dark ones. That's the thing, man. Like talking about church, talking about philosophy, talking about God, talking about law, talking about civics, talking about public discourse, talking about, you know, commercial interaction, talking about all these things. There's not a place, there's not a language, there's not a philosophy, there's not a sentiment, there's not like a culture, there's not a developed, healthy, rigorous culture that well marries all these ideas and all these feelings and all these experiences together in a structure, in, if not a hierarchy, then a graduated sphere that is not some kind of, well, there's the Pascal's triangle, and you can analogize that to the Pascalian tetrahedron, which might be a way to conceive of regularly ordering a sphere, kind of. Octahedrons and tetrahedrons filling a sphere, but naturally a sphere tends to be more like a toroid, or, you know, if nothing else, two poles in a plane. So that throws regularity off, and it's also spinning, so there's spirality involved. So a hierarchy like that, a distribution, an orderly distribution with a center, not a top. There's no pinnacle at the top because the top is the center, and it goes up that much higher again, where the bottom is at the top. Right? There are other ways to construct that